My name is Stephanie. Welcome to the Three Principles Global Community webinar. The Three Principles Global Community, or 3PGC, is a nonprofit organization that is committed to bringing an understanding of the three principles as introduced by Sydney Banks to people throughout the world. And today, we're going to be talking about the feeling of coming home. Thomas Jensen and Hannah Meyer Sjöblom are two students and practitioners of the three principles in Stockholm, Sweden. They are very engaged in the Swedish community, 3PSE, which is working to spread the understanding in Swedish. So it's my pleasure to introduce Hannah and Thomas. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. And thank you everyone that is here, coming home with us tonight. Yeah. And we're already getting some hearts, so this is a good one. Yeah. So do you want to start, Thomas, or do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the topic is coming home. And I think when you choose a topic, it was like months ago because Thomas got ill. So we had to postpone this meeting. But I mean, it's always in the right time. So now was the time. And we had the theme since then. So I think I've been coming home a lot since then and had a lot of practice of coming home. And I'm going to let you in on that, what I mean. So what I mean with coming home is like a lot of things, but I will mention one, and we will also talk about what you mean by coming home if you want to share. And Thomas is going to share. But for me, coming home is to land in the now and to really feel the good feeling that I think Sid was talking about. And I just get really calm and it feels like everything can happen. And I'm all right with that. It's like I feel I am a soul, or I am a consciousness, or I'm that before everything happens. I'm the being before the doing, and it's a really calm place. And but I'm not there all the time, of course not. Or for me, it's of course not. I run away from there. I don't know why though, but I do. So sometimes I tell it like it feels like when I'm home, it's like I'm bathing in a really warm sea or something, just floating around. And then something happened and I find myself up on the beach freezing. And it's like, oh, no, I'm here again, freezing. Why am I here? I can go back to the warm sea and then I come back home to myself again. But it takes shorter and shorter time to acknowledge that where I am. So that's one metaphor that I found good. And then another one is that I used to guide clients with, that I guide myself with, of course, is sometimes when I just sit and just think about that everything is falling away. The world, me, my body, my thinking, everything. And when everything is gone, it just feels like there's something there, but it's not a thing. And when I touch that place, it's like everything can happen. And I know that that place is my home and that I carry it with me. And that reminds me of that there's nothing to be afraid of. And then life happens again and I get all these feelings and thinking and everything. But what I have seen with my insights through the three principles is just that place was shown to me, and after have that feeling of being me beyond everything. I know it's there, and that's what happens then is like it feels like I have one foot in that place, and the other one could be running around. So it's like, okay, so it's more, everything is more okay anyway, even if it's like stormy out there. I have like one foot, or sometimes just a toe, but anyway, in that space. That's what's come to me. Maybe you have to say something about that, Thomas, or what you see in coming home.
Yeah, in my mind, I have to say something about why we didn't show up the last time. And so I had this, like, the trip of my life. I was supposed to meet my daughter for her 30th birthday in Thailand, and beautiful little small island. We were supposed to dive together and explore the ocean. And she came from Australia. She'd been there for a year, and everything was looking really nice. And so I was so looking forward to it. And the day after I arrived there, I sort of found out when I got home 2 weeks later that severe pneumonia on both lungs. So I was complaining about the hard beds, and because you sort of, which I realized later, get bad back and I had high fevers. And so these 2 weeks were really kind of, now I can look at it like the comedy of life, sort of taking things too seriously at the time. And so I thought about that. And even then, like, it was serious at the time. I had like periods during those 2 weeks where I actually believed I was never going to come home to Sweden again. And yet I just had this feeling of, yeah, but I don't know that. So I dropped out of it. And the thing I realized more and more now coming home is, what if we could laugh at these things actually now? When I'm not comfortable sitting here talking to you, like, I have some kind of like tension about that. But still, it's more like, if you asked me for a couple of years ago, would never showed up for a thing like this. But it's getting more and more easy to see through the illusion, or whatever you want to call it. Like, coming home is not a coming to, it's not out there, it's not like circumstances or beliefs or thinking about. For me, it's more like realizing, I don't have to make this game so serious. Like, I don't have to pretend, I don't have to sort of, yeah, judge or even have thinking about what is, because it is anyway. And what is so much more than my thinking about it at the time. So that's, so I really appreciate that trip, like, immensely, from the depth of my heart. It was really perfect at the time. It taught me so much about expectations and being in the moment and coming back and let everything have its time. And even not showing up for the presentation at the Triple GC the first time sort of scared me. But I realized that my coughing was so nauseous. And that's laughable too. Now I'm here and I don't know what's next. Nobody knows that. It's really liberating to actually. I have to quote Sydney Banks on one thing, because I found, in preparation for this, I found a quote. It's actually on The missing link. Lo and behold, page 90. In every area of life, everyone is capable of seeing from a higher perspective than they do now. In every area of life, everyone is capable of seeing from a higher perspective than they do now. You're never stuck. You're simply limited by the level you are seeing from. You're simply limited by the level you are seeing from. Limitation is always illusion. Just wait, relax, stay still, wait until the wisdom talks to you as it will. And I don't know what to say more than that. It gives me goosebumps. So I'm so grateful for this community. I've been involved here for but I've sort of been keeping in, being more and more silent because, I love it that way. I can't explain why, but I love this conversation. I love being in the room with you guys, and this community is amazing. People are so true to themselves as they ever can be, in my opinion. And we're all looking for truth in our own way, and there's no sort of wrong way to do it. It's, in my experience, don't pass silence. Look for silence, and we all know truth when you see it. And so I'm so grateful for this community, and thank you all so much for being here tonight. And, that was just what came out right now. How about you, Anna?
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And so good to have you back in your physical health, of course. And good that you saw something new in that experience. And what I was thinking about was like taking it serious, life serious. That's also something you can wake up from, right? When you take life too serious. So also like laugh sometime or see yourself in another perspective can wake you up and take you more home to yourself too. And what also struck my mind when I was listening to you was one of my first insights. Well, what I reflected on was when we were talking about this, what was that maybe it's so that every insight you get is a step closer to home, or even a reminder of home. And one of my insights, I told this story many times, so I'm not going to tell the whole story, but one of my first big insights was shown to me like a vision, and that was that I had an experience of seeing myself at the stage where I was the actor, I was the one observing, and I also was the one coming home after the theater was closed down. So I had this like 3 perspective experience, and the feeling of coming home was so beautiful, and that was the experience left me with like I used to say like 80% of my worry thinking just left because I saw something about who I am. And so I had a lot of stored thinking or memories that wasn't true to that story. So that just fell off. That was so beautiful. But I'm not like out of worrying. That's not how life is, but worrying wakes me up quicker. And I'm really grateful for that. And also what you were talking about, Thomas, so good that you took that up. That I'm really grateful to the whole world community, but also to our little community, trying to spread this in Swedish. We're not so many, but we are on fire and really trying to talk about this, and spread books and translate and everything. And that just feels so, when you have seen something, it's like you can't stay quiet. It's not like you, in the beginning I wanted to go out and shout, and I did sometimes in many occasions, and everyone didn't want to listen. But then after a while I just saw that being me was enough, and if someone was interested, they asked something, or we got into that conversation, or so I got a little bit calmer about that too. And also respect for everyone's journey here. And if life is a theater, that also Sid said, and that I had in my vision, and it felt really true, because I also saw the manuscript with my old role part and everything. Not the whole manuscript, I didn't read it though. It was like one page or so, but it was really, it struck me. This is true. This is my role that I've been playing here, and I'm seeing through that more and more. So if everyone is here on a theater or on a journey, or then they can choose whatever they can or want to, and I'm not the one to tell you're doing it wrong or going the wrong direction, or but one time in my life I thought I was here to just get away from here. It was like I was like, okay, so I'm just going to see that I'm a soul, and then I'm going to go away from here. But now I see that a little bit different. I see more of me being here, and getting all the experiences that I can, and just seeing more that I don't have to be afraid of any experience. Yeah. So, and the thing with the theaters was really beautiful. And then after my fourth son was born, I got another vision, and that was that this was more like a game, and that I saw us as a family, that we came here as like souls or light or whatever you want to. The words are not enough. I think, energy, and that what we saw outside were only what we were thinking about ourselves and others. And it was so interesting to see that just by thinking, I put like clothes to other people, and how they were, and good or bad, and also to myself, of course, how I looked and how I were as a person, and then starting to compare with another person that I just made up a story about and compared myself to it. So I laughed when I got that vision. And it also felt that, seeing that we are the energy, and that this is more like an illusion, that also felt like coming home again, seeing more of the truth that I feel is true. I don't say it's true for everyone here, but just exploring it is beautiful. Just know that I don't know, and just know that I have so many doors, as Sid said. It's like, it feels like glass doors now the time. It's like, oh, I thought I saw something, and then a new door and a new door. It's like a room with in glass all the time. Yeah. Yeah. And also what you said about limitation, Thomas, that's interesting, because if you take the metaphor with the theater, then it's like, you see the rooms and everything, but when you the limitations, and maybe the rooms, the walls, the stage, the game plan, or whatever, the map you're going through, it's like your own thinking, of course, and your own limits. And when you see through some of them, the wall falls, and And that's just so beautiful that we know that we don't see the whole picture, and that anything can happen, and just one thought away, as he also says. Yeah.
So it's beautiful. And what came to my mind is like when we stop trying to achieve something, the moment we realize that we're already home, we're more free to play our part, our role, our made up identity stuff, knowing that just even for like short glimpse. Anyone had that feeling here at this call, like being at ease and peace with themselves? I guess someone had kind of, what if it isn't as complicated as we think? What if? Question I want to like throw out. What if it's not that complicated? What if we just been paddling too hard, and because that's what we're used to? Dr. Bill Pettit comes to mind. He always have a good laugh. He'll tell a good joke and sort of like something that stuck with me is like life is too important to take too seriously. If you hadn't had a good laugh before lunch, something is seriously wrong. And that's like, just try to remember that for myself. And of course, I can get stuck and like wake up and sort of pretend that some thoughts are more important than others. And then looking at the clouds on the sky and like nagging with them would be like just stupid. Picking up that cloud shouldn't be there, and this cloud is too big or dark or light or small or yada yada yada. But thoughts look so real. So anyway, just like having a small idea of that we are something more than it looks real to us. In my mind. I'm curious to hear what coming home means to people in this call. And, if someone is interested in sharing. If that's okay with you, Hannah, if you don't have anything else you would bring up.
No, it's of course okay, and if anything comes up, I would just say it, of course. So.
And the point, like, because I think we all are or have been in the search of coming home. Like that's what we're here for, in my mind. So
if you'd like to share a little something about what coming home means for you, you can raise your digital hand, go to the react button, and you should be able to raise your hand from there, and we'll be able to see you, and you can unmute and share. Okay. See Iwan. Yes. Hi.
Hi.
hi,
Lovely to see you, Thomas. It was some weeks ago, months even. My first time I used the words coming home was, I think, back in 2012, when I realized how beautiful the world is. and how beautiful all you human beings are. That beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. It's coming from within. And dropping out of those anxious thoughts of not being enough. I'm good as I am. And everything is as it is supposed to be right now. That made me calm down, as you said, Hannah, calmness. It made life simple. Simplicity came to me. The struggle disappeared. I can struggle now too, from time to time, but it's a short struggle. I can notice where it's coming from. And that for me was coming home. The calmness and the simplicity. Yeah.
Thank you, Eva.
You're welcome, Anna.
I think it's lovely when more people talk about coming home or tell their story or insights, because it's like, I see us sometimes like we're a mirror and we are all like a cracked mirror and we're all some piece of that mirror together. So when we tell how our piece look or what we have seen, it's like seeing more together.
And share a
One
little
thing that,
bit.
yeah,
Oh,
say,
is it
yeah,
okay?
do it, Stephanie, yeah. Please do.
So this is something that I'm seeing about coming home. This morning I had a moment that I heard myself saying things that I knew were very silly as they were coming out of my mouth, saying, I just want to quit all of this. I'm just so tired. I want to quit it. And I knew that as I was saying it, I was not talking about wanting to quit any of the things in my life. I wanted to quit what I was thinking and the way it was feeling in that moment. And it was almost like I was laughing at myself, even though I was whining at the same time, which reminds me of what you were saying, Hannah, about seeing yourself on the stage, watching the stage, the manuscript. It's like, even though part of me, like part of my experience was, this is very serious, it really wasn't at the same time. One of the things I've been seeing is that if I can notice my experience the way I was doing, and I start to sink into being with it instead of being caught in it, being with it, it feels like coming home can happen even when these things are moving through me. And as they move through me, I had this awareness that it's healing. And I don't really know what that means, but it felt like that. It felt like, oh, being with this and letting it move is healing. And it's perfectly okay. And that feels like coming home too, along with the more immersive, beautiful moments of being home when I'm not noticing something moving through that doesn't feel so wonderful.
Mm.
That's really beautiful.
The being with, thank you for that, Stephanie. That's beautiful. It's not being the thinking and the feeling, it's being with it. It's a game changer just to see that. I'm not the thinking, I'm not the feeling, I'm just being with feelings and with thinking. And it's like what I can see about that is like that you have one, when you see it like that, and when I touch that, it's like I have one step more home, and also one in the theater or the experience of what I'm thinking. But also what you said, Thomas, I think before, when we talked before this, you said something so beautiful, what I heard about that we get lost in the doing and don't remember that, as you said now, it's so simple. It starts with being, and that's the answer. But as I also said when we were talking, it's like we're so used to do stuff. Have to do stuff to get somewhere. Have to do stuff to see. And then it's like, no, you just have to be. But that I already am. I and that's too simple. No. I have to do something. And then we go around running or doing stuff, and so we're just enough. And we also talked about babies. I mean, they don't go doing a lot of stuff to just be there and be in this clear consciousness and experience stuff. And yeah, and even small children, as you talked about, Thomas.
Yeah, so many things comes to mind.
Yeah.
Anyone else has something to share with us? And in my mind, it can be so, life just sort of throws things at you, and the more so noticing and sort of being with, as Stephanie said, and is kind of another way to look at life, yes. I guess what I'm trying to say is, in my mind, then, faith, not blind faith, but like having faith is sort of is built in. The more we look at, it actually grows. We grow into, and in my mind, it's like when beautiful day last summer, 2nd of August, like 10:32, my what do you call it, partner, we can call it, I lived with for 17 years, calls me. I know exactly, like, can hear her voice right when I recall it, and tells me she's been in another relationship with a man for 1.5 years. And I was just on my way over a bridge, and I sort of everything just vanished underneath, and I could see all the thoughts I made up for 17 years around expectations and things we shared together, and the life I sort of made up we had together just collapsed. And I started laughing, like hysterically, obviously. And didn't even remember where I was going or where I came from. And I just had a realization like that this is what sort of panic attacks look like. I thought I knew, but the experience of it was like, aha. So I got really curious and interested in it instead of thought it meant something about me. And that made me really curious. Where did that come from? How could I be so calm and cool about, in my mind, what just went on? Of course, I had sort of cried my heart out for days and questioned it and went around it and thought about it, and eventually just like became clearer and clearer and clearer. And a short time thereafter, I met, and it's ridiculous when I say it right now, but and I think it had to do with resilience and the faith I sort of been exposing for myself for the last 10 years led me to a wonderful love of life. And it opened up, and I saw that I'm so worthy everything that sort of, um, and then I had a deeper thought, like, it's not even about worth. It's like, it's just a feeling um, beyond thinking. And in form, it meant like I was open to receive what made me happy just because it made me happy without any explanation about it. So I started to sort of sit with being with the good feeling. And beautiful things just came to me. And I just followed them, and it led to more beautiful things. And I had a lot of spiritual bypasses, thoughts on the way. And so I'm so down with her after a couple of weeks. And then the whole story came back, and I processed, and it developed. But still, underneath everything, it led me to more freedom. And it's still, it's like 7 months old, and it still is evolving and enriching. And one, sorry, maybe I'm hard to follow, but this is really close to my heart right now. But one thing that I will never, never, ever forget, and is that all the love I gave was never in vain. Never, 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 ever been in vain, no matter what. And that's been really, really comforting. Just to know that, not what it means or anything, but just having faith in can never go wrong with love. Never, 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 in my experience. So just guess you want to hear about that, guys, because it's beautiful. Even in hard times. That was my story. So,
Thanks, Thomas. And I
okay.
think John has her hand raised.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit dark. I'm doing a hike here in the south of Copenhagen in the sunset, but now the sun is almost down. Okay, I think there's so much to say that I can't cover that, but I think it's to me it's really crazy discovering these three principles. I've been into all this personal development with getting success, like building a startup and making your 100 millions and stuff like that. like The Secret and Think Grow Rich and Tony Robbins and all kinds of things. And then very much by coincidence, I went into this. And it's really amazing. I think just one example is like I've now tried a few times just driving my car, and I'm almost crying of happiness. And it's like, hey, what's going on? I'm just driving my car, but I'm just feeling so great. And then when you're talking about coming home, I think one thing that is a bit tricky to me is in my upbringing, it's always, when we say in this that you are good enough, my upbringing was more like if you scored a goal in football, then you're good. If you make a good grade in school, then you're good. If you get this job, then you're good. And I think in my stomach, I feel like, okay, everything is good enough, but I'm still having this monkey sitting on my shoulder that maybe you should build this company and do something big with your life. I feel kind of I'm tipping between those two things. Is it really okay just having a good life and enjoying your life? So I think actually it would be nice to having your perspective on that one.
Do you want to go with that, Hannah?
Yeah, I can say something. Thank you very much for sharing. Yeah, I can really relate to. That was also what I was trying to point out with the human doing instead of human being, right? Like it's when I do something, then I'm good enough. But well, having touched that place of being okay and feeling calm, it's like there's nothing better than that. I can still think sometimes that I have to achieve something, or I don't know, get a better or move, or I don't know, think I have to go somewhere, but I don't know, the feeling of being home, as I can relate to it now, it was I have all those stories I think I need to have in my life already here. I don't even have to think them. It's like all the feelings are already here in that big feeling of being home. So it's like life are already lived inside, but it's still sparkling, or I don't know. That's what came to mind when I was listening to you.
Yeah, but I was really thinking the other day, here in Denmark we pay some quite high taxes, as you do in Sweden as well. And
Yes,
then when the year is done, then if you did some miscalculations, then we were lucky and get quite a lot of taxes in return. And that was kind of, okay, now I got a lot of money, but the feeling of sitting in my car driving was so much stronger than getting this money back. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like it's a difference between the feelings, right? Because we talk about feelings and feeling, and sometimes it's hard to know what it is, but it's the feeling about the big feeling.
Yeah.
It's like when you have feelings from thoughts, it's one quality, but when you have the feeling, the laugh, I can imagine, it was the big feeling, and you just know that's the other quality.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So why do you think that we go astray or go away from that feeling? Have you reflected on that?
I think it's very much in the culture because, as you guys do, I'm feeling this very strong, the three principles, and feel like, okay, everyone should know this, so they would have a more happy life. But when I sometimes discuss it at my work during lunch, I kind of feel like they feel that I'm a bit crazy, um, So I think it's just such a strong culture that, of course, you need to do something to have a good life. You need to reach this destination, and then you'll be happy. But it's really crazy because I think if people really think about it, it doesn't really make sense. And you have so much proof that people built a company, that they bought this Porsche and they were not really happy. They just went for something else after that.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just sitting and doing nothing, and just feeling so great. And at the same time, I think maybe also because it's new to me, it's also feeling like it's feeling a bit strange, you know. This should be how I should be feeling when I became partner in this company, but I'm just sitting watching the sun, you know. I'm not really doing anything. Yeah.
So it's like maybe just coming home to being with the experience that we are having. Not trying to create another one, just being with what is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
I come to think of I guess all of us have been experiencing a stressful dream. We woke up from it realizing, okay, oh my God, so happy to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I pointed to stressful thinking is kind of the same. Any thoughts about that? Does it sound true to you guys? In my mind, there's sort of there. Sometimes I sort of hide away from truth, but every time I hear truth, however it feels like in the moment, fear dissolves. It's like, okay, now I have something like actually is true to me. Something I can to reflect on. See something more about. Guess for me, it's more and more a fun game to play, even though it's scary sometimes.
And then it's so beautiful to have friends that remind you of this. Because as Sid said in the quote, it was beautiful. Thank you for reading that you can see in every area. Because sometimes it feels like some areas are more hard to see. But then if you have a friend that you can just share, then they don't have the same area because they don't live your life. So it's just so beautiful to share with you, Thomas, or other friends, or you here, and just see through there to see one layer more. And what you were talking about, the fear, is one. I think it was Dickens saying this, but I don't know if he would say yes, I did say that. But what I heard was that it's nothing that is fear. It's just not letting love flow through. It's like more restricted love. And I would never forget that. It felt so true to me. Because that's also the feeling in my body when I feel fear, it's really hard to feel I'm in the flow and everything is all right. And so I feel really restricted and holding in. So that's also have been a good reminder of when I feel like that, I'm not in truth. I don't see the whole picture. I don't see truth here as it is. Because when I do, then love flows through. Or I don't know, maybe we are love. It's just words, but it's, yeah. Anyone else want to share or ask something, or ask not because maybe we have the answer, just to see something new together, see what comes up?
When you spoke, Hannah, it came to my mind that I heard it so many times in so many different ways from so many teachers, that we are the thinkers. We have thoughts. We are not our thoughts. I can hear that again and again and again, and still it looks like they're true to me, again and again and again. And but it's getting more and more like, I don't know. Yeah, so what? What's next? Sort of that thing.
Mm.
But from a
Yeah.
perspective that, so I don't, and no one can tell you what's true for you. That's become more and more true to me. That sort of and when I'm in charge of my experience or I don't know if I'm in charge, but so I'm in charge of experiencing myself anyway, without,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, I don't know that either, but I have a sort of idea about it. And that gives such beautiful, I guess, invitation to other people to, what do you see? It's so fun to see what we see together. And like, that's a new thing for me. And it's not about getting it right. It's about like, please share. It's so fun to just like see what shows up for all of us to look at. Because it seems like we're part of the same and therefore blah, blah, blah. I don't know about that either, but it's quite cool that we have experiences. Mhm.
Mhm.
And something that shows up from, I don't remember the name of the guy who shared, John, I think it was. What showed up for me now, it just came through that does it matter what people think? Do we have to share how good we feel about things? And can we just like sort of be okay with what shows up and just enjoy other people from where they're at and how they enjoy their lives, and be there for one another and see what's helpful in the moment? I see that more and more. We have the opportunity, all of us, all the time. No one is worse or better than anyone else. It's just we have the opportunity to help each other on our way home. So I shut up now.
Mhm.
Thank you all so much for coming.
Yeah.
And nice to see all of you. Hope to see you soon again.
Thank you, Thomas and Hannah, for coming to speak with us, to share a bit about coming home and get us looking in that direction. It's been wonderful to have this time with you. And
Thank you.
for everyone else, we will be back at the same time next Tuesday, which is April the 8th, with Judy Sedgman. She is going to be presenting on Walk the Talk. So you're welcome to come back for that as well. And let me put into the chat Hannah and Thomas's information. You can grab that there if you'd like to follow up with them after this or connect with them and learn more about what they're up to in the world, because they're doing some beautiful work with spreading the word about the three principles understanding in Sweden. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
So nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to hear your voice.
Me too.